Okay, good evening. We're up to Lamed Hey Amid Aleph, the Mishnah. We're discussing the halachas of Shevuous Eidos. And Mashpi ani aleichem im lo savou. I think I didn't tell. I feel bad. I didn't tell Meir Gewurtzman that share. He's not on the chat. Sorry, Meir. Meir.
Yeah, but I'm on Zoom, just coincidence. I wasn't going to be there anyway. I went on Zoom. I'm on the way to Manhattan, so I was on Zoom anyway.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for alleviating my guilt.
Thank you.
Mashbiani aleichem em lo savou v'te'eduni shamar ish ploni litain li matayim zuz v'leinasan. Now, you swear that you heard so-and-so say he's going to give me 100 zuz, and he didn't give it. Is that a kfiras mamin to mimchayim Shevuous Eidos? And the halacha is hari elu peturim yepata. Why? She'ein chayavim al ella al tfias mamin kipikadin. You're only mechayev where the claim is where vadait is money there. Says Rashi. She'ilu heiduhu hayum mechayavim ma'asei mamin. That if you would testify, I certainly would get money. Aval zeh, in this case, what you're going to testify, this person said he would give me money. Im heidu lo'hayim mechayev. He's not mechayev to give him. You're not mechayev to cause me a loss of money. Shayachal lo'ima chazrani bi. The person said he's going to give it to me. Said I changed my mind. So there's no vadai kfiras mammon in this case. Saying that Eidos that this guy said he would give me money is not a kfiras money because the guy can go back. I don't want to give you money. It's not with pikadon with a chiyuv. Vadai that there is money. So that's the first halacha of the Mishnahs. There's 5 halachas of the Mishnah. That's the first halacha of the Mishnah. Second halacha, mashbiani aleichem kisheteidu li eidos, that when you will know eidos shetavau, that you will come v'teiduni. In other words, listen, I'm covering my bases. In the future, if you know eidos, this guy owes me money, I'm making you swear now that you'll come. The maisa of hava that you might witness is coming after the shvua. That doesn't work. Shevuous Eidos, we need the maisa before the shvua, not the shvua before the maisa. So you can again one more time. Mashbiani aleichem kishetadu li eidos. When you will know eidos, shetavo v'teiduni hareli p'turim v'nei shekad mishvua leeidos. Because why the shvua came before the eidos, the act that you're being kofar on, that you know about, it's taking place after the shvua you made that you would testify, that you won't testify. Amad basic knesses. Now, the transaction took place. You testify. You saw the action, and you could testify if you so desire. However, you're among a throng of people. You're among a bunch of people. So Amar basic knesses, the Amar and the Taveya says, Mashpi ani aleichem shem atem yoidim li edis shetavo v'teiduni. Swear again. This is shvua aydei acherim that you're going to go ahead and you don't answer the call. Hariyel p'turim depata. Even though there's a concept of mushma pi acherim, you have to be miyached the edim. Over here, you're speaking to a bunch of people. You're not miyached the edim. So you have 3 halachas over here. The first halacha is that there has to be money similar to pikadon. That has to be vaday, the money's there. Secondly, it has to be the shvua comes before the maisa, and thirdly, a halacha that you have to be yachid the edim. In other words, it's not enough, even though the edim are there, fellas. If the edim are not there, there's no chiddush, right? You speak to a bunch of people, there's no edim. What are you saying? Elamad, it's speaking where there are edim there, but you won't miyachid them. Amal shnayim mashbiani aleichem ish ploni shim ata yoida li edis shetavo v'teuni shvua she'enani yoidim l'cha edis. Okay, so right now everything is on the up and up. Right now they make a claim. They swear that they don't know edis, and vehem yoidim loy edis eid mipi eid, but they knew edis, but not direct. They heard from a second party, or third party. Or one of them, one of them is the car of apostle. We'll see the chiddush in a second because we said first base is what it has to be royal le'edis. That was the first mission in the parak. So if you're going to go ahead and say one of them, Hariela Pturim de Pata. Hariela Pturim, you're going to be Pata. So over here, they're denying Adis it would cost the guy money if they would testify. However, they are not kosher Adis because it's Eid Mipi Eid, or it's the car of apostle. So you're going to ask, this case of car of apostle we had already before. You need royal Adis. So look at the top Tosfos. Afal Gav, the Kavar Shamanu, even though we already heard the Eina Hagis Elabarui and Lahayid, that the din of Shuas Eidus is only with those who are seen properly to testify. You have to tell me over here that Afilum Yesh Shloisha Eidim, if you have three Eidim, Vashnayim Ksherim, and two of them are kosher, nonetheless Peturim. The Eidus Shabbalim Mitzasa Batlakula. Eidus that you mevatel part of it, mevatel kula. So therefore, that's the chiddush over here, like Taisvis, that like Taisvis, it's speaking where there was three Eidim, two of them are good, one of them is no good. If one's no good, it's still Shayach Shuas Eidus. It's not Shayach Shuas Eidus because you need all three to be good. The Ramban says, over here we're speaking where the Nitfa accepts the Kroivim of the Taiveya as Eidim. It's speaking where he goes ahead, the Nitfa was soymich on this Eidim, if they'll come and testify, even if they're psula. And therefore you would think that maybe they would be acceptable, Kamashmon, that they're not. Okay, a final halacha. Shalach b'yad avdoi, oy shama lehem hanitfa. We had this 3 times already. You send your evet to go ahead and make a claim. Oy shama lehem hanitfa mashbi'ani alechem. Or the nitfa, the one who you're making a claim for. I don't know why you would do this, but he says to the Eidim, swear that you know Eidus on behalf of the Taiveya. And you'll testify for him. It has to be right that you heard from the Taiveya. It had to be that you heard directly right from the Taiveya. So the Mishnah tells us 5 halachas. Again, just to reiterate. The first halacha was right that there has to be vadai money, like from a pikadon. The second one, it has to be that the Maisa came before the Shua. The third one, you have to be miyached the Eidim. The fourth one, that Eidim that you heard Eidim P8 is no good. And the fifth one is it has to be you hear from the Taveya directly. Now the Gemara basically is going to go ahead and just prove each one of these cases. Tanrabanan. Mashpia and Elechem Letavo Beteiduni, Shama Ish pointing Liteli Matime Zuz, Nasan. Go ahead, I want you to swear on my behalf that so and so said he's going to give me 200 zuz, and he didn't. Yachli Yehi Chayav. I might think the Chayav for Shuas Eidis by refusing to testify. Tamalemet Sechta. We have the Gezer Shava to add the Shuas Apikadin. The Gezer Shava Nema Kan Techta, Nema Lahalam by Shuas Apikadin Techta. Malahalam Betfias Mom and Vieshlai. Just like over there by Pikadin. There's tfias mammon, a claim of money, v'yeshlai, and there's a chiv of money, v'yeshlai sheyesh mammon a love. In other words, not a future possibility of money, but genoi there is money. That's yeshlai. So too, shuas eidis genoi there has to be what yeshlai. There has to be a chiv of mammon rather than what then future perhaps there'll be money. I've come with tfias mammon yeshlai. Okay, that was halacha number 1. Halacha number 2 was that the shua has to come after the Maisa, not before the Maisa. Tanrabanan. Mashbi'ani aleichem, kisheteidu li eidus, when you will know eidus, shetavo v'teiduni, you'll come and testify on my behalf. Yachli chayavim, if they refuse to testify and they're over in Shuas eidus, tamad leimar, v'shama kol Allah. Allah is lashon shua, like we learned from guys from Saita. You'll hear a kol Allah, v'hu eid, oira, oyada. So what does it say? V'shama kol Allah, you'll hear for who aid, meaning you were in aid already. You were in aid because you witnessed the Maisa, rather than what? You only became an aid after the Shua. So V'shama kol Allah v'hu aid, you were in aid already. So what do you see from the way we read the Pasuk? That you need the Maisa before the Shua. So Shekadma Eilus the Shua, v'le Shekadma Shuas Eidus. That the Shua has to come after the Maisa rather than before the Maisa. Then the next halacha was that you're not miyached eidim, you're speaking to a bunch of people. You're in a base knesses and you tell them to go ahead and swear, and the eidim are among the crowd, Amar Shmuel, afilu Eidav Beinehem, even if the Eidim, Beinehem says more Pshita. I mean, of course the Eidim are among them. If the Eidim are not among them, you go speak to a strange crowd and you say, I make swear that, Eidis, says more like Tzricha, the Koyel Avahu. The Eidim are there, and the guy is standing near them. So Ma'odetema Kimanda Amalu Dani, I might think since he's in close proximity, we'll view it as what? As if he's going ahead and being miyached them, and they be chayiv Shevuous Eidis. Talmud Loima, Kamash not. Tanya Nam Yehochi, a brisa that substantiates Shmuel's din. Roya Siyah Shal B'nai Yodam, if you see a group of people, Oimdim the Eidav Beinehem, and the Eidim are among them, that's the right of Shmuel. The Amalehem Meshbi'ani Aleichem, Im Atem Yoidim Li Eidis, Shetavo B'Teiduni, Yachli Chayavim, Talmud Loima, V'hu Eid. You need a genoy aid rather than an ambiguous, knowing they're there, but you didn't go ahead and speak to them directly. Yachal, guys, listen to this. Yachal afilu amad kala oimdim kan. So he's standing near them, and he says, anyone who's standing there, I might think that what? You're not chayiv Shevuous Eidis, because he didn't say you. Kemash malon tamaloim avhu aid v'ariyichet eidav. By standing next to them and saying kol oimed, anyone standing here, that's enough of designation of them. And if they refuse to testify, they will be mechayiv what? A shvur korban oila v'yarid. So again, if you say oimed near them, you say oimed alav, you give them miyached. The next thing was what? Of aid mipi aid. Amal shnayim mashbiani aleichem tanabanan. Amal shnayim mashbiani aleichem ploini uploini. Imati yoidim li eidis shetavo teiduni v'hin yoidim li eidis aid mipi aid. They knew eidis, but they knew it not directly. They knew it from a third party. Or shahoy echmeim karav apostle yachlei chayavim tamud leimar im lo yagid v'nasa avoinoi. If you don't testify, you carry iniquity. Guys, when it says if you don't testify, what are we saying? You must be right to testify. So therefore, a MPA is not right to testify, and a Korav is certainly not right to testify. So therefore, okay, the last thing was Sholach Biad Avdoi, Tanrabanon, Sholach Biad Avdoi, Oishamalehem Hanitfa, or the person, the Nitfa, the one he's making a claim from. This person seems to be a glutton for punishment. He's making the aid to swear to cost himself to lose money, right? He's making aid swear to cause himself to lose money. So Tanarban Sholach Biad Avdoi, Shamal Lehen Hanitfa, Mishbiani Aleichem, Shem Atem Yoidim Li Eidis Shetavo V'Teiduhu. Now, guys, the loy is written malay, lamid vav aleph. So we can read it as loy with him, or we can read a loy as no. So now, Amar Blessing, im loy yagid, kosav im loy, la yagid. Im loy if he, loy yagid, v'nasa avaynoi. V'im la acher, loy yagid potter. If he doesn't testify, guys, if he, the one who knows Adis, then what? Then it, but if what? It's somebody else. If it has to be that he swears to the Taiveya, not the Nitfa. That's the lashon of Rashi. And loy yagid ksiv malay lemedrish bay loy. Either way. So imi loy yagid. If to him, guys, to him, who's him? Who's him? The Taiveya. To the Taiveya, Yagid, he has to go ahead and testify. But in Loy, if it's not him, Loy, he doesn't have to testify. Says the Mishnah. Mashpia ani aleichem. So now, with different lashonis of Shevuous Ha'edis. Now, the Chiddush guy, Shevuous Ha'edis, it has to be a Shvuah using the name of Hashem. The Shvuah has to be, you're swearing using the name of Hashem, okay? So this is the lashon of these are the lashonis that we mechayiv you for Shevuous Eidis. Mashbi ani aleichem, mitzav ani aleichem, oiserchem ani. I bind you. Hari elu chayavim. If all these lashonis are used, then the Eidim would be chayiv or leviyarid. If they don't testify, it's in Bezdin, the kaifer in Bezdin. B'Shemayim v'Aretz, I'm ashpia you b'Shemayim v'Aretz. Hari elu p'turim depata. B'Aleph Dalid, the Aleph Dalid of Hashem's name, B'Yud K, and there's either the name of Adnus or the name of Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, b'Shakai, b'Tzvakos, b'Chanun v'Rachum, b'Erech Apayim, b'Rav Chesed, u'b'Chol HaKinuyim, Hari Elu Chayovim. So any one of the names of Hashem, or according to the Mishnah, apparently the Midas of Hashem, Chanun v'Rachum are not names of Hashem, they're part of the Yud Gimel Midas. Erech Apayim is not Hashem's name, it's part of the Yud Gimel Midas. So it's ostensibly from the Mishnah, you would think that even just swearing using one of the midas that we associate with HaKadosh Baruch Hu would be enough to be Mechayev me. So that's what it says. But again, Shevuous Eidus, and you have to go ahead and swear with the shame. The Kul Chayavim. Hamakalel, but now extending the halachas that we're extrapolating from Shevuous Eidus to be Makalel, cursing someone, you have to curse in the name of Hashem should curse you. The Kulan, any one of these names, Chayiv, Divrei Remei, V'chacham and Paichim. V'chacham say you need the Shem and Mefarish. Hamakalel of V'imai, the Kulan, in all of these Chayiv, Divrei Remei, V'chacham and Paichim. So Remei extends the names of Shevuous Eidus to Makalel and to Makalel mother and father, Yim Chayiv Skila. And the Chacham say you need the Shem and Mefarish. Hamakalel Atzmei V'chaveroi, the Kulan, in any one of these names, Oiver B'lai Saseh. You're not Chayiv Misa, but you Oiver what? On a sase. Now in the Teichacha, it says, Yakacha Hashem b'shachefes, Hashem should strike you down b'shachefes, b'kadachas, b'nalekes, b'charchor. So this is alluding to the what? The curse. This is alluding to the curse in the Teichacha. What is the lashon that we use by Shevuous Eidus? V'shama kol Allah. You're hearing a shua, right? Again, we spoke out many times that the key by Shevuous Eidus is mipi acherim, who call Allah, they're making you swear. Who aid, and he's an aid. But lo yagid, he doesn't say anything. In other words, we learned out mushma mipi acherim from the pasuk of Shevuous Eidus, right? That's the pasuk. Shama kol Allah, you're hearing the call of Allah. Memela, if you use a word that equals the Allah of the Torah, that also would be a shua. That's the kiddush, the next kiddush of the Mishnah, fellas. Yakach Hashem Elokim, v'chein Yakach Elokim Zuhi Allah, Aksuva b'Torah, and you would what? You would be what? You would be over on Shevuous Eidus if you don't testify, or Al Yakacha, if you do testify, you won't be what? You won't be smitten. V'yorechacha, if you testify, you'll be blessed. V'yitav l'cha, or things will be good for you. V'chalav ad shmei hein, v'mei mechayev v'chacham en poitrim. V'mei would be mechayev you, and the chacham would say you pot. Okay. Now, Mishbi Ani Alechem, Mike Omar, since he didn't mention a name of Hashem, what did he say? Again, I just spoke out, you need the name of Hashem. So the first din of the Mishnah, Mashbi Acha Ani Alechem, what did he say? He didn't say Hashem's name. So Amar Yehuda Hachi Kamar, Mashbi Ani Alechem Bishua Hamur B'Torah. That's, so you read those words to the Mishnah. Mashbi Acha Ani Alechem Bishua Hamur B'Torah. And mitzvah means mitzvah ani alechem mitzvah omer b'Torah. That's the mitzvah is in Parshas in the Parshas Nedarim. Oiserchem ani b'Isra omer b'Torah. Okay, so in other words, each one, guys, if you do the shyness there, if you go back to the Mishnah, Mashpia ani alechem the shvu of the Torah, mitzvah ani alechem the mitzvah of the Torah, Oiserchem ali alechem yisum of the Torah elchayavim. So in other words, where's the shvua? You said you connected to the Torah. Amalei Abai got a problem. Elahaditani Rabchia. Rabchia says, "Ku belchem, I'm chaining you. Hari elachayavim, kaybel b'raisim iksiv. I'm chaining you to something. There's no Torah there. In other words, if mushbis shvu the Torah, mitzav the tziva the Torah, iserchem is this the Torah. Kubalchem, the chain is a lashon of shua, yet there's no makar in the Torah. So that can't be the hezber of why Mashpia, Mitzvah, and Oisrechem is good shvua. Ella, Lashon Charata, Amar Abaya, Hachi Kamar. Mashpia ani alechem b'shvua, Mitzvah ani alechem b'shvua, Oisrechem ani b'shvua, Kobelchem ani b'shvua. You're eating the words, guys. Mashpia alechem b'shvua. I'm making you swear b'shvua. You're eating the word shvua. Ikachasa from the Mishnah. The Bryce is Abaya is adding to the hezber of the Mishnah. He's adding the word shvua to what? I'm making you swear. Mishbeachim, I'm swearing in is a shvua, and therefore you're chayiv. Now, we said Aleph Dalid, Biyud Hey, Shakai, Tzvakois, Chan, and Racham, Berachapayim, Brav Chesed. Now the Gemara is going to have a problem with the names of Chan and Racham. These are midas of Kodesh Baruch Hu, not names of Kodesh Baruch Hu. We need you to swear in the name of Hashem. Remember the Chan and Racham Shmois Ninu. You mean to tell me, based upon this Mishnah, that you can be chayiv for swearing in Hashem's name, that Chan and Racham are Hashem's name? Urimino, that's your stira. Yesh Shemosh Nimchakim, Yesh Shemosh Nimchakim. There are names that you can erase and names you can't. Elun Shemesh She'enim Chakim. Now we know Avodah Zarah, guys. There's a mitzvah to erase Avodah Zarah. Conversely, it's also to erase Hashem's name, right? So, what are the names that you can't erase? Kigoin Kel, Elokecha, Elokim, Elokechem, Ekia, Asher Ekia, Aleph Daled Adnus, V'Yud Kei, Shakai, Tzvakos, Harei Enim Chakim. These are all names of Hashem. Avo Hagadol, Hagiba, Vanoira, Haadir, Hachazak, Va'amitz, Va'izus, Chanan, V'Racham, Erechapayim, V'Rav Chesed, Harei Enim Chakim. So you see clearly from over here that you can be machak the shame of what of Chanan V'Racham. It must not be the shame of Hashem. Amar Abaya, Masnisan, our Mishnah is not speaking about where you say the name that Chanan V'Racham is Hashem's name. B'mishahu Amid Beis Chanon. B'mishahu Racham. You're swearing in the one who is gracious, the one who is Rachman. So therefore, that's very good. You're not speaking about the midah of Hashem. You're speaking about Hashem who has those midas. Memela, therefore, you be chayiv. Amle Rava, ihachi. If you're telling me that they're connecting not the name itself, but the one who has those attributes, but Shemayim V'Aretz Nami, B'misha Shemayim V'Aretz Shaloi Kamar. You say who just like the one who's Chanan, the one who's Racham. When you swear in the name of Shemayim V'Aretz, what are you saying? The one who the Shemayim V'Aretz belong to him. So why isn't that a good shvuah? So the Hachi Hashta. Hasam kivin the lekamidi achrina the ikri racham v'chanon vaday b'mishu chanon. You know, it's if vaday b'mishu racham. If you say chanon v'racham, now anyone at this in the Zoom call can say I'm a gracious guy and I'm a gracious guy and I'm a bal rachman, and I would agree with you. But kaviyachol next to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to say we pale in comparison would be a joke. So to say the one who's ultimately all racham, ultimately all chanon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always that way, that makes sense. But Shemayim V'Aretz, why would you touch up the one that belongs to him? There is a Shemayim, there's Aretz. So that hacha kivin the ikar Shemayim V'Aretz, but Shemayim V'Aretz kama. He didn't mean the one who the Shemayim V'Aretz belonged to him. He meant the Shemayim V'Aretz. So by chanon v'racham, he meant the one who's chanon, the one who's racham. Therefore, it's a good shvuah. But when he says Shemayim V'Aretz, he means the Shemayim V'Aretz literally, not the one who belongs to him. Okay. The rest of the Gemara is quite. It goes very geschmiert. The rest of the Gemara is not that this was difficult. The rest of the Gemara goes very, very nicely. It's about writing names. Says the Gemara. Kasav Aleph Lamed Me'elikim. So you set out to write the name of Hashem, but you only wrote the first two letters. You set out to write Yud Kei Vav Kei, but you only wrote Yud Hey. So you ended up writing Kale and you ended up writing Ka. Harizeh Eino Nimchak. You can't erase them because those are shameless by themselves. Like it's by Hilchos Shabbos, guys, right? Like Menachem in Noach, you have to write two letters that make shame, then makes sense, according to one opinion. Shin Dalid Mishakai, Aleph Dalid Me Adnus, Sadi Beis Mitzvakos, Harizeh Nimchak, because that doesn't spell out Hashem's name. Elokim, you wrote Kale, that's Hashem's name. Yud Kei Vav Kei, you wrote Ka, that's Hashem's name. But an Aleph and a Dalid, Ad, or Tzadi, or Beis, this doesn't work. Rabbi Yossi, Omat Tzvakos Kula Nimchak, Tzvakos you would. Shloi Nikrat Tzvakos El Hashem Yisrael. You could even, if you wrote the whole name Tzvakos, you could erase it, because Tzvakos is written L'gabi Kal Yisrael. Shloi Nikrat Tzvakos Ela Al Shem Yisrael. Shnemar, V'yitzesi es Tziv Oisai es Ami B'nei Yisrael Me'eretz Mitzrayim. Amashmuel ain't like Rabbi Yossi. The Loch is not like Rabbi Yossi. In fact, Tzvakos is one of the name of Hashem. It's not connected to Yisrael. Hanrabanan. Kala tafel Hashem, anything that is ancillary. Bein milfanav if it's a prefix. Bein mil achra whether it's a suffix. Harizeh nimchak. Lefonav Ketzad, right? La Hashem, Lamed Nimchak. Ba Hashem, Beis Nimchak. Va Hashem, Vav Nimchak. Me Hashem, Mem Nimchak. She Hashem, Shin Nimchak. Hey Hashem, Hey Nimchak. Ka Hashem, Chav Nimchak. That's so they have no problem. La Achrov, Ketzad, Elokeinu, Nun Nimchak. Elokehem, Hem Nimchak. Elokechem, Chav Chem Nimchak. Acher Moimrim, La Achrov Eina Nimchak, Shekra Kitchu Hashem. The prefix that comes before Hashem's name that you could erase. The suffix that comes afterwards says Acherim, you can't erase. Why? Because since the shame came before it, it was Mekadesh. Elokeinu, the fact that the nu comes after Elokei, right? Elokechem, the fact that the Chem comes after Hashem's name, it's Mekadesh. And the Chem says you can't erase it. And Amar Avhuna halacha ki Acherim, the halacha is what? Is like Acherim. Okay, so now we get to different Pashias in the Torah where Hashem's name is used. Does it mean Hashem's name, or does it mean what? It doesn't mean Chayil. So one very famous case is this Parsha, guys. Hashem, and Hashem appears to Avram, Be'eloni Mamre. Let's go. Who's talking? For who Yosef. Okay, let me. Hashem Be'eloni Mamre, who Yosef Pesach Ol Kachamayom. And he, Avram Avinu, is sitting by the opening of his tent in the heat of the day. Vayisa Einav, Avram picks up his eyes, Vayar, Vihine Shloisha Anoshim Nitzav Malav. There are 3 men standing over him. Vayar, he sees, Vayaretz, and he runs, L'krasam, Mi Pesach Oel, Vayishtachu Artz, and he bows down twice. Vayoymar, Adonai, Im Nomet Sasichem Beinecha, Al Nasava Me'avdecha. Yukach Nomat, Mayim Rachtzor. Now, guys, who is Avram speaking to over here? In context, you would think he's speaking to the Malachim. So even though it says the name of Hashem, really it's Chayil, because he's speaking to. Now, I think the difference is how you would conjugate this. If he's speaking to the Malachim, you would say Adonai, my masters, or Adoni, my master. If you want to say it's the lashon of Yachid, and he's only speaking to one of the Malachim, it would be Ni. If he's speaking to all the Malachim, it would be Nai. If he's speaking to Hashem, it would be a Kometz, guys. So this is what the Torah, the Gemara is commenting on. The name of Hashem over here, is it Chayil or is it Kodesh? Is it Chayil, meaning he's speaking to the Malachim, or is it Kodesh, he's addressing Hashem? So that's what the Gemara is going to say now. So we have a Avram, Delatya, Lenavos, Begiva, Begivas Binyamin, Shlomo, Daniel, Simon. Kol Shemus Amur B'Torah Avram, Kodesh. All the parsha that speaks about Avram Avinu is Kodesh. It's Hashem's name. Chutz Mizeh Shu Chayil, with the exception of the one I just showed you, which is Chol Shneimar Vayoma Adonai Imna Metzasi Chein Beinecha. Right? If I find favor in your eyes, then what? Stay with me. So therefore, he's addressing the Malachim, and therefore it's the lashon of Chayil. Chananya ben Achi Rabbi Shuav Rabbi Loza ben Azayim Mishum Rabbi Loza Hamudoy Amru Afse Kodesh. It's also Kodesh. It's Hashem. And who's his command? Asla Hadam Rabbi Yehuda Marav Gedoy Lach Nasas Archim Yosem Mikabalas Mei Shchina. Right? Command Koisei Zug. Okay. So guys, this is fascinating. The way you read this parsha now, listen to the way you read the parsha. According to this last pshat. Oh, what did I just do? Sorry. Here's the way you read this. Vayera Hashem Elohim Amrei, v'hu yisei navayar v'hinei shloisha noshim nitzav malav. Vayar Avram Avinu runs, bows down. Vayoymar, he says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, im no metzasichem beinecha, if I have found favor in your eyes, Al nasava mi'avdecha. Hashem, don't leave. Wait for me. I have to take care of Archim. Hashem, wait for me. I have to take care of Archim. Wait for me. I have to take care of Archim. So this is the pshat over here. Dam Rav Yudam Rav. Gedoy lachnasis Archim. Great is achnasis Archim. Yosem mikvos me'ashchina. Vayer lo Hashem. Avram Shem to Avram. Hashem is being mevakar chayla. Comes along some Arabs. Says Avram Avinu to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Guess what? Hashem. Al Nosava, please, not that he's speaking to the Malachim, he's speaking to Hashem. Don't leave. I got to go ahead and take care of there, because greater is taking care of Archim than what? Than being Mekal Pnei Shechina. There's a sefer called Beis Yitzchak, fellas, on the Torah. He has the Gevaldige Kasha. Where do we learn out? Gedoy lachnas Archim Yosem Mikabas Pnei Shechina. Where do we learn it out from? From here. So the question is, how did Avram know? Fellas, we know for the future from here after the incident took place with Avram. But how did Avram know? Listen to this teretz. This teretz is gorgeous. We all know, it was the hottest day in the history of the world. Hashem took the sun out of its shell that he shouldn't be bothered with Archim. Did Avram know this? Absolutely. It was 140 degrees, whatever it was the hottest day. He knew why Hashem took it out. It was to stop Avram from coming. But what did Hashem do? He found Avram, he did it so Avram should be troubled. What did he find? Avram Avinu was sitting by the tent. He was more troubled by the fact that he could do chesed than it was the third day of a meal of a 99-year-old man. So Hashem switched gears. What did he do? Avram reasoned, if I wasn't supposed to greet these people, Hashem wouldn't have sent him in the first place. The fact that he sent him in the first place is a raya. I'm supposed to go ahead and see him. Or else they shouldn't be there. Hashem took the sun out to make sure there would be no one there. But Hashem saw I was so troubled by the fact that I couldn't do Achnasas Archim, he sent them. So Avram reasoned, if he sent them, I must take care of them. And therefore, that's how he knew that Gedoy Lachnas Zarchim Yosem Mikabel Pnei Shechina. So it's a Gevaldige Pshat. Okay, anyway. Now, the next person where we have the Shaila by is Lot. So Lot is running away from Sodom. Sodom is being destroyed, and he's told to go to the mountains. Kol shemus amur b'loit chayil chutz mizeh shu kodesh. Shenamar vayomer loit aleihem. He says to the malachim, Al na Hashem no Aleph Daled Nun Yud Hidi do matza avdecha chen beinecha. So Pashtus, he's addressing them and saying that I can't go any further. But obviously he knew he was saved. Why was he saved? It had to be he was saved in the schus of Hashem. The full lashon of the pasuk, guys, is Vayomer Lord Aleim Al na Adonai Hine no matzasi chen be'avdecha v'tagdal chazdecha asher sisa imadi lahachias es nafshi v'nochi le'uchal le'imolei lahar. I can't make it. Pented b'kani arov v'meiti. It's going to catch up to me. So clearly, so it says over here, Hine no matza avdechem beinecha v'tagdal chazdecha asher sisa imadi lahachias es nafshi. Lot clearly knew that what? Whose hands is life and death in? It's the Rabbi Shalom. So when it says over here, the pasuk, he's not addressing the malachim. He's saying, "Al na, stop, Hashem. I know Al na." He's speaking to malachim, please. And now he's addressing Hashem that Hashem should let him. He won't be able to make it to the mountains. Mishbi yesh biyadei lahamis ulahachies. The one who has in his hands lahachol. Now we know we've seen many times already that Achav had a neighbor, Navos. Navos had a kerem, and it was beautiful, and Achav wanted it, and Navos refused to sell it to him. It was in his family for years. He wasn't going to sell it to him. Ezevel went ahead, got false aid to testify that Navos was Megadef as Hashem, and they killed him, and they took the kerem. We've seen the Gemaras that Navos got his revenge because he was the one. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked who's going to go ahead and trick trick Achav to go to battle against Aram, and he said, "I'll do it," and he did it. Said therefore he couldn't be in Hashem's he couldn't be in Hashem's Daled Amos anymore. Okay, but that was the story. So now, Kol Shemus Amuras bin Navais Kodesh, all the names used in the parsha of Navais are Kodesh, and ben Micha Chol, and all those that used with Pesel Micha we saw was Micha set up a pesel, and Yehonasan ben Gershon ben Moshe was the Levi, was the priest of the Avodah Zarah. The names used there are Chol. I agree with you by Novus that they're Kodesh. However, I disagree with by Micha. You say Micha, all the names are Chayil, but Micha yesh behen Chayil, yesh behen Kodesh. Right? Aleph Lamid, if Aleph Lamid is used, then it's Chayil. Yud K is Kodesh. Chutz Mizeh, except there's one pasuk. She'Aleph Lamid el name Elokim is also Kodesh. Kol Yemei Heyo space Elokim b'Shilo. That the whole time that the Mishkan Shiloh stood, so did Pesel Micha. So we have a machlokes by Micha whether they're all what? They're all Kodesh or not. Now, there's a Maisa in the Torah called, right next to Pesel Micha is the Maisa of Pelegesh Begiva. And Pelegesh Begiva, briefly, that there was Pelegesh, she ran away to her father after she had trouble with her husband, and she came to Giva, and some really lousy people were Ma'anasa, and she died as a result, and a civil war broke out between Klal Yisrael and Binyamin. The battle goes on. The first day, Bnei Yisrael lose. The second day, Bnei Yisrael lose. The third day, they win. And the way they asked from the Urim and Tumim had a lot to do with it. The first, they asked whether they should go to war. They said, but yeah, they didn't ask if they would win or not. So this is the Maisa that happened over there. So without going through all the psukim, basically you got the idea that some of the words are kodesh, some of the words are chol. Kol shemes amur begivet binyamin. All the words that have to do with the parsha of Giva that took place in Binyamin. Rabbi Eliezer Omer is chol. Rabbi Eliezer said they're all not kodesh, they're chol. Rabbi Shua Omer they're all kodesh. Amar Rabbi Eliezer. If you're telling me they're kodesh, how could it be a kodesh Baruch Hu told them to go to battle and they weren't victorious? Because they asked whether they should go to battle. So Amar Rabbi Yeshua said, Mashev Tichu Asa, what Hashem assured them happened. On the first 2 days, he didn't say they're going to win. He said they should go to battle, and the answer is they should go to battle. The Heim Loi Bichnu, they didn't test Imlim Netzeach. They didn't ask if they're going to go ahead and be victorious or not. And what the last time they asked, the third time, and they asked they were going to lose, his scheme al yadam. Because Baruch was masking. So the first 2 times there was Hashem, but it's not that he was maftiach them they're going to win. He never said they're going to win. He said you can go to battle. They went to battle. The third day when he told them they're going to win, Hashem was, but he was maftiach him. They won. Shneimar uPinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron hakayin oimed lefanav b'yom mehem leimar oisef lotzis muchama in bnei Binyamin achi emechtal. And he said, go and you'll win. Okay. Along those lines, the Gemara continues. Kol shloima hamurim b'shir hashirim kodesh. When it says the word shloim in shir hashirim, it's referring to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. You know what shloima means? Shir lemisha shalom shaloi. This is a book for what? Whose shalom belongs to him, which is Kodesh Baruch Hu. Chutz miser, with the exception of this pasuk. Karmi shali lefanoi ha'elaf lecha shlomo. Right. And what does the rest of the pasuk say? Karmi shali lefanov ha'elaf lecha shlomo u'masayim la'noitrim espirio. So 1,000 to Shlomo and 200 to those who watch his fruit. So that is Shlomo himself. When it says Karmi shali lefanov ha'elaf lecha shlomo, it's speaking about Shlomo himself. U'masayim la'noitrim espirio is referring to the Chachamim. So that's the only one that's not Hashem. Yesh Oimim, others say no. Abzechol. Even if it says Hine mitasai Shlomo shishim, that Shlomo had 60 men surrounding him, he was scared of Ashmedai. So that also is speaking about Chayil. Okay. So when it said Afzeh, Lomi boy heich, and the other one also, the vineyard. In other words, Afzeh, the vineyard, Karmi is Lashon Chayil, and this one, Ela Adam Shmuel. So in other words, we have a person saying that both are Chayil. Sai the Kerem and Sai the bed. Good. Ela Adam Shmuel. Malchusa de Kotla Chad Bishisa Ma'olma Lema Ansha. A government that goes ahead and takes 1/6 of its people into the army isn't punished. Shenemar, Karmi Sheli Lefanai, right? My vineyard is in front of me. Ha'elaf L'cha Shlomo, 1,000 for you, Shlomo. L'malchusa de Rakia, that's for the Malchus de Rakia. U'masayim l'noitrim esperio l'malchus de Ara. So 1,000 of the Malchus the Rakia. So according to this guy's Shmuel saying it, so the Kerem, the Malchus is speaking about Hashem, Malchus the Rakia. According to the first two Pshatim, Kerem was what? Was Lashon Choel. According to this, Shmuel, the Kerem is Lashon Kodesh. He's an Amayra. Who's he going according to? So I don't know if it's 12, 1,012 is 6 is 200. I'm not sure. Again, or it's Milabar, you're going to break up the 1,000 to 5 pieces and another piece, 4 pieces and another piece. Anyway, Shmuel, like Yeshayim, Shmuel does not like all the Tanakama and the Yeshayim, because they both held Shlomo by the Kerem with Chayil, and Shlomo was saying it's Kodesh. Elahachi Kamar. This is what Shmuel's saying. The Yeshayim said Kodesh, that Shlomo, when it says Karmi, it's Kodesh, V'zehu Chayil D'mitasai, and the one that says what by the bed, that is Shmuel Damak Yeshayim. In other words, you have a third opinion. You have two opinions in Yeshayim, that the first Kerem is Kodesh and Mitasai is Chayil, and that's what Shmuel holds like. Kol Malchayod Amura B'Daniel Chayil. When it says king in the Sefer Daniel, it's Chayil. It's not Lashon Malchus of Shemayim. Chutz mizeh shu Kodesh. Ant Malka Melech Malchaya, you king of kings. The Elo Shemaya Malchusa Kisna V'Takva V'Koriyei Loch. The king of kings, who's is the Hashem of Shemayim. He's giving you strength, kingdom, and honor. Okay. Now, obviously, king of kings is referring to Hashem. V'Yeshayim Mavzeh Kodesh. Even this pasuk in Daniel is Kodesh. Nemar, More Chelme, the More, my Lord, Chelma, the dream. Nebuchadnezzar had a terrible dream. Chelma l'sanach, the Chelma should be chal on your enemies. Upishreich l'arach, and its interpretation should be on what? On your enemies. So what do you see? That this pasuk also, More refers to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Leman Ka'amar, now who was Shmuel speaking to? If he spoke to Nebuchadnezzar, sen oisei mainin, who are Nebuchadnezzar's enemies? Yisrael. Might collide Yisrael, would Daniel curse Yisrael that the dream of Nebuchadnezzar should go on the enemies, on Yisrael? The Tanakama, Sava, no, Sunny Yisrael, there are Sunny Yisrael, however, Sunny Abdikhavim Leka. They're what? There's, in other words, he only has Sunny Yisrael and no Sunny Abdikhavim. Trust me, Nebuchadnezzar made plenty of enemies, so he had plenty of Sainim that can go on. Okay, we'll stop over here.